Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. We'll get this week off to a fine start. We have a message from Outrageous Openness. I'm doing a little bit of an adaptation just in terms of the title, but the content is going to stay the same. I just thought the title she gave it didn't really say what it was about. So, the bigger picture of what it's about. So, I made an adjustment. So we'll give it a minute for everybody to pop on. Hope everybody's Monday is off to a good start. Garbage Man was here right on time, so the day is rolling here. The day is rolling. Good morning, Nancy. You're the first one here today. Welcome, welcome. Glad you are here. And I guess it's supposed to be reasonable today. We've got a little chance of precipitation tomorrow, and I feel like a weatherman. Anyway, the snow is dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. See the smile? Yeah, when it's fresh snow, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. But as the days go on, it's a little less than exciting. So, went to the park yesterday and had some time. It was a beautiful blue sky and total sunshine. It was just gorgeous. Good morning, Barb. Glad you're here. And the deer were out. I think there were 6 deer. At one point, one guy's front yard was loaded with deer. Yeah. So glad you're all here. This is good. People starting to pop in. We gather our practical rebels every morning and spend some time just settling in, just being, adjusting our framework so that the day is far more likely to go well. And yeah, I look forward to this every morning. And when there is the rare morning where I miss, the day just feels off. So I appreciate all of you. So let us start with some tapping and some breath. I was laying in bed this morning doing a bunch of deep breathing going, it is so good to be able to fill up your lungs. So good. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Miss Jo Neal. In through the nose, out through the mouth, setting intention to settle right into here and now, being fully present, giving yourself these brief moments just for you. Then you can get about your day, but just enjoying being here right now. Looks like there's one more person here. Good, thank you. There's one more person here than I have named, so whoever has snuck in, welcome, welcome. Breathing in, breathing out. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Settled into right here, right now. Tuning in your inner ear, the wise part of your hearing that goes beyond just the physical apparatus, that hears what is here for you today, this morning. So, again, Outrageous Openness, letting the divine take the lead. Letting the Divine Take the Lead by Tosha Silver. How do we gracefully allow ourselves to be led where we're meant to go? How do we do that? So this is on page 23, and she called it the mortgage meltdown, but I felt like something more related to tapping into the divine energy that's available for all of us. But when we get rolling really fast in a day, we don't even think to call it in. So this one actually walks through steps of how to call it in. So I thought that was a good option for today. So it's called the Mortgage Meltdown. The quote is from Psalm 55, "Cast thy burden upon the Lord." So let's see which stories she chooses to share with us today that make the point that we don't have to carry life's burdens all by ourselves. And we don't have to hang on to and puzzle over and try to solve things that sometimes these seeming obstacles land in front of us and we go, well, what am I going to do with that? Remembering we can turn it over. Put it in our God jar. Just hand it off. Let it go for even a little while. Sometimes, and I think that's the value of things like mundane work. While we're working on something, let's say I'm folding laundry. While I'm working on that, my brain is quietly working on whatever is needed, and I get out of the way of the 2-year-old self that goes, me do it, and allows guidance. There is so much support and information and knowledge and wisdom available to us that, again, we don't often tap. So let's see what she has to say. My friend Lori rents an apartment in San Francisco and also owned a home in Northern California. As the economy began to spiral, she started emailing me frantically about selling her home. Which word are we going to circle there? Frantically. Is that a good approach to life? Frantic? Not so much. She took the same desperate approach to her finances as many people do. Every day she figured her chances of selling got worse as the recession deepened. As she saw the value of her investment decline, she descended into increasing panic. Know anybody who functions kind of like that? Each time she checked the numbers on Zillow, she needed a Xanax. Not good. I suggested she not imbibe the general fear and scarcity of the culture. What are the feeling tones of our culture right now? Not good. And you don't want to drink that Kool-Aid. You want to keep yourself separate from the general public turmoil. That doesn't mean that you're not addressing things, and it doesn't mean that you're not paying attention, but you're not willing to pour your precious time and energy into doing battle, which is a waste of your precious time and energy. It's more valuable to focus on, what do I want instead? I can lament all this garbage, but all it does is suck my energy dry. Or I can focus on, and what would I prefer? What do I want instead? And how do I take steps in that direction? What are the action steps that head me that way? I'm not putting my energy into what I don't want. I'm putting my energy into what I do want. So, again, she suggested that Lori not imbibe the general fear and scarcity of the culture and keep her energy anchored in the divine as her source, capital S. Because really, well, what she says is if she did, her place would sell if it was meant to, regardless of the current market. And that's the piece of this thing. We were talking about it yesterday on book club, the difference between looking at healthcare from an individual's perspective, what do I need, versus the insurance company's perspective, which is an actuarial perspective. Out of all of the people who get X disease, this percent are going to be dead within 5 years. And then they decide what they're going to cover based on that in a lot of ways. So we need to be focusing on that individual piece, but aware of that actuarial piece. So that's just one example, the healthcare thing. But here are the steps that she's talking about in terms of, and in this example, she's using Lori selling her house as the example, but extrapolate. Move this to all kinds of other things. Where else is this information useful to you? What is something that you're wanting to manifest right now that may not seem to be coming down the pike as fast as you would like to see it? Here are the steps. Step 1, release a personal focus. Stop focusing on how much you will win or lose. Instead, invoke a situation where you and a buyer can both win. Imagine the house as a resource you have to offer for the good of all. And think about that, especially like if you're a salesperson. Really good salespeople do not get wound around their axle about hearing no. They just assume that is not the person who's meant to have this wonderful, amazing, whatever it is that they're selling. And so they look around and they go, next. They're looking, it's kind of like dating. You can go about the dating scene from the perspective of, oh my God, I keep getting rejected. Everybody's telling me no, blah, blah, blah. Or you can say, yep, that wasn't a good fit. Next. And actually be grateful. Be grateful that that person was wise enough to say no, because they weren't it. They weren't it. So release a personal focus. Call in divine order. How many times have we heard we need to ask? We need to invite the wisdom in. We can't keep the door shut and expect that we're going to get the benefit of that wisdom. Open the door. Open the door. Call in divine order. Affirm that the perfect new owner is already selected and will arrive easily. Know that you will receive the divinely appointed price from the right person at the right time, imagining someone who will genuinely benefit. So you can spend time thinking about that. I'm talking to, and I'm going to make stuff up here. I'm talking to my new boss. I'm talking to my new life partner. I'm talking to my new vehicle. I'm talking to, connect. Connect in the ether, out in the energies, and invite in that person. I always call it a tractor beam. So you're sending out that tractor beam that's going to attach to whoever, whatever it is in the highest and best good for all, and bring it to you. Bring it to you. Spend some time in that energetic work. Step 3, install the divine as the true owner. After all, where did the house come from in the first place? Did it ever truly belong to Lori? At least give God the credit and mentally return the home to the divine for resolution. Think about all the stuff we grasp. This is mine. 500 years from now, will it be mine? 500 years in the past, was it mine? We have this really delusional idea about ownership of stuff. Really, we're just renters of everything. It's my turn to hold this. I pass away, now it's your turn to hold this. You decide to give it to someone else, now it's their turn to hold this. They don't want it, so they give it to someone else, now it's that person's turn to hold this. It's all moving around anyway. We tend not to view it that way because we don't think in terms of lifetimes. We think in terms of our lifetime. This is mine. Fences. Fences are a great example of trying to stake out what is mine. I was talking to my son a bit ago, and he was saying that he had met the new neighbor beside him, and he pitched the idea of, hey, what do you think of taking down the fence between our houses, and we can kind of garden across the space, blah, blah. And the new owner was all for it. And now behind him, the house was for sale, and actually a friend of his bought it. So the first thing he says, hey, what do you think of taking down this fence? And so that sharing of resources, do we really have to have fences around everything? Okay, so the next one is, and this is a lovely one. This one takes some practice, which is why we have things like the God jar. Become detached. Breathe. Become detached. Let go of any grasping for outcome. That's why I like to think in terms of this or something better. My human mind, amazing though it is, can only conceive of so much. The universe can conceive of all that is. So if I insist that it be a particular outcome, I might be self-limiting. In fact, it's pretty likely I am self-limiting. Go with this or something better. This or something better. Give the universe some room to operate. Let go of any grasping for outcome. Let go of any attachment to the place, or it will block resolution. Detachment creates room for creation. Love that. Detachment creates room for creation. If it's hard to detach, pray to be able to let go and receive the highest outcome. I like using a variation of that in terms of dealing with people. If there's someone who's really annoying, I will pray for the willingness to forgive that person. I may not be to the point of forgiving yet, but at least I'm praying for the willingness to forgive that person. It's a step in the right direction, right? If it's hard to detach, pray to be able to let go and receive the highest outcome. Know that one way or another, no matter how things currently look, God is your source and you are safe. How many times when you had a big conundrum in your life, did the resolution of that conundrum end up being something that wasn't even on your radar screen when you were struggling with the issue itself? So again, it's that reiteration of we don't have the total view. So why would we want to limit ourselves to just what we can generate? Open it up. Open it up. So here's the end of the story. After Lori and I spoke, she got a strong impulse to run a real estate post on Craigslist. Every day she invoked divine order and affirmed that the perfect buyer was already selected. She also decided that if the universe wished for her to keep the house, the funds to do so would manifest. Isn't that a lovely thought? If this is meant to be, whatever I need in order to maintain it will show up. She became totally detached, insisting that either way, the divine was in control and she would be fine. I love hanging around with the friends that I have who are like that, who say, well, I wonder how this is going to turn out, or I'm sure there's a solution here somewhere. I'm not seeing it yet, but I'm open to receiving. It's so much easier. Thank you, Gwen. I appreciate that. Detachment creates room for creation. End of the story. 2 months later, she sold the spot without a broker, through the one crummy online ad on Craigslist, to a grateful couple with a new baby for precisely the amount of money she needed. Divine unfolding. Divine unfolding. So, take a breath. Let it go with the intention that you're opening to divine unfolding. For the issues that you see in your life right now, and for the issues that are there that you're not even aware of. Allow the unfolding. Invite in the unfolding. I wonder how this is going to work out. And let it be. So, that's it for this fine Monday. Go about your day. Have a lovely week. We'll talk to you again tomorrow morning. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.